Hello everyone, it is so exciting to welcome all 665 of you to my channel, Garden a Little. If you're not yet subscribed, click that subscribe button, don't miss a video. All my updates are happening here. I love to bring new people along, inspire new people to garden a little. Just if you even have a pot, put some seeds in there. That was my first garden ever. If you don't believe me, go watch my previous videos. I had 3 tomato plants that I planted from a rotting tomato that was sitting on my counter. And I was just like, I don't know, I have this thing in my heart. Let's plant these. Planted those. That was the biggest tomatoes I've ever grew. Till this day, I don't think I've grown bigger tomatoes than those first tomatoes that I've ever grown. I'm not kidding you. They were taller than me. Anyways, let's go see what's going on in my garden here. My husband built me this garden 2 years ago. We filled it up beds with some soil. I put some chicken manure in here. I got these ladies right behind me. I give them garden scraps. They compost it, go over it, and then I put it back into my garden so I get some lush plants. I also add fertilizers like fish emulsion, things like that. Not too often, but you gotta feed your soil, especially if you want some good produce coming out of it. So first of all, if you're not new here, let's take a look at my experiment of peas. Do you remember that I started seeds indoors and direct planted them, and I was comparing, is it worth to start peas indoors? Let me show you this side over here. If you remember, first of all, look at the drastic change. So on this side, we have plants that are maybe half the size as on that side. None of these are flowering. These are flowering and have baby peas already. Guess which one was early started, planted outdoors, and direct sown? That's right, that's exactly what I showed you. These are the direct sown peas right here. And they are half the size, which is, I'm blown away by that. Half the size as the one that I started indoors. I for sure thought that these will struggle because honestly, I don't think I just like put them outdoors that many times to get used to the sun and the wind and all of that. I didn't harden them off that much. These ones I direct sowed, I thought that for sure they would just sprout out, shoot up, and just be like amazing. No. That is another thing of gardening. You're always learning. I would have never thought that starting seeds indoors of peas will help me get sooner harvest. Never. So as you might know, every gardener has challenges, and mine is this year. It's this bed right here. It's kind of just everything in one hodgepodge. So one thing I do have organized are these sunflowers. The only reason that they're organized is because I plucked them all throughout my garden. That's actually one great thing to have when you're gardening in the same space, is that you have plenty of volunteers to go around. Now hold on. Maybe some people will say that's a negative because then you will never get rid of something. Like for example, if you grew tomatoes in one spot of your garden, you will never get rid of tomatoes for the rest of your life. Or mint, things like that, or dill, things like that just go to seed and then just sprout out everywhere in the rest of your garden. Now, that is a positive for me because if you have been watching me, you knew that I was gone for a couple of days, for over a week actually, and most of my tomatoes over in that bed have died, perished. So volunteer plants actually saved my butt this time. So before my trip, everything was fine and dandy. I planted my tomatoes, I watered them, saw the forecast that it's supposed to be raining, wasn't too worried about them, and lo and behold, 2 days after I left, frost hit. Frost, I'm telling you guys, frost. So none of this was covered, obviously, and most of my tomatoes actually died. Like this kind of died. Just shriveled up and died. In these pots, I was saving tomatoes to give away. I have 2 left. I don't even know I'll be able to give these away. And then this is a volunteer. I planted tomatoes in rows. This is the only tomato that survived in this row. This is a volunteer. That's a volunteer. Green zebras pretty much all died. I just left that marker there just to mark the row. Volunteers all the way around. Volunteers basically. My solar flares did actually pretty good. Well, now that I say that, there's one, There's one. And I mean, like, look at this. That didn't even grow at all. And it's been 2 weeks in the ground. 2 weeks. The only reason I'm leaving that and having faith is because it has a little bit of green in there. Planted my peppers. Now, some of them did survive. Again, I'm telling you guys, it froze at night, one of the nights when I was gone, and nothing was covered. And you know how peppers are super sensitive to weather, moisture, all of that. So I'm surprised that some of them made it. We have a few big Thai hybrids right over there. I got a couple of weeds and volunteers here as well, like cilantro's another volunteer that will never go away. And then here I actually planted jalapenos that my cousin gave me. Now, sad story, very sad. I assumed that they were already hardened off to the sun and the wind and all the exposures. I don't think they have been, because as soon as I planted them out, so sad, they died. They shriveled up and died. Now you might be telling me, Seema, that's a failure. Why are you telling me this? I don't need to see this. I need inspiration. I need encouragement to go garden a little. Well, this is it. Every gardener knows that there's no such thing as a perfect gardening year. Nothing is ever perfect. Something always is not good. Or, for my case, a failure. So I will go to a big box store and buy some started plants. That will be my solution. And that's okay, because sometimes that's what you need to do. Or if I didn't have that option, I would have just waited for another year to grow some peppers. Now, not all is a loss. I do have some pepper plants that will survive, and they'll be fine. Who knows, maybe they'll grow like trees and produce 1 million peppers that I don't even need extra pepper plants. So don't be like, oh my goodness, most of my plants didn't survive, I'm just gonna quit. Don't do that. That's exactly what you should not do. Moving on from my peppers, I got my corn here. It is doing much better than it was when I first came. Still a whole ton of weeds and stuff, but I'll clean them up as the corn starts growing, because I think I ripped up too many corns to feel comfortable weeding them again. My herb center here. This is that spinach that I sowed, direct sowed. It's doing pretty good. My basil is over here. My basil is over there. I have a little bit of chives that are surviving. I have a few sprouts of parsley here, a few sprouts of dill, oregano, obviously. Thyme is going crazy. I need to start trimming them back. It's going to start to spread everywhere. I don't want that, so I need to be very careful what I let it do. And then my rosemary here, I ripped it out because it was just dead. It just died. Cilantro, direct seeds sown lettuce. Got a few onion seeds that survived, like literally a few, like 2. My more volunteer tomatoes. So in case my other ones don't survive, I'll be able to pluck these out and put them over there. And these are grocery store bought green onions that I chop the greens off, and then I plant the rest of them in the ground, and bam, there we go, more green onions. Here in this bed, my beans are actually doing fantastic. By the way, another volunteer sunflower. I'll be digging this up and replanting it. My cucumbers are coming up, guys. Look at that, so exciting. Here and there. Very excited about that. My milkweeds are doing great as well. They're coming up. I cut a few irises and put them at home in my kitchen. Looks fantastic. Love it. Just beautiful. Look at that. Amazing. And then garlic, guys. Look at that. I think I'm gonna be harvesting this soon. The bottom leaves are starting to dry up, and I think that's the telltale sign of harvesting it, right? You tell me if that's wrong, but I don't think so. So I'm super excited that this is coming along, and it's coming along nicely. Dude, guys, look how big this stalk is. This is huge. So I'm super pumped about that. So right now I'm gonna harvest some salad greens, head indoors, and enjoy this hot day indoors, and then come out in the evening and enjoy the rest of my garden. Oh, before I log off here, bam. Woohoo! Strawberry season is here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, enjoying my garden with me today. It is getting quite toasty out here, but I hope I encouraged you. Go garden a little, and I'll see you next time. Bye.